Hey everybody, I'm Nick.
I'm Joe.
And this week on Fright Fight, we watched Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter, and Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 4, The Dream Master. Ooh.
Get up and kill!
So on Fright Fight, what we do is we take two horror franchises, we put them head to head, movie by movie, score them based on 5 categories: characters, best kill, body counts, score, best overall.
That's right, and this week, as we said, it's already going to be Friday the 13th, Part 4, final chapter, versus Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 4, The Dream Master. And these are interesting in that it seems like they're at the point of the series where they actually try.
This ain't my dreamland. Kristen! If you hear, I'm gonna pound your ass!
Definitely seems like there's some craft behind these movies. Creative kills them both, great scenery, great visuals, great tone too. I really enjoyed the movies we watched today.
Actually, yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into it.
Jesus Christmas! Holy Jesus goddamn! Holy Jesus jumping Christmas shit!
Friday the 13th picks up right where Part 3 does. It's literally the same night and then transitioning to the next day. Jason, yet again, still killing people around the same fucking lake.
Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, first follows Christian from Part 3 before she quickly gets the axe, and then follows the character of Alice and her struggle as dealing with Freddy as he comes back from the dead, and it's pretty fucking good.
So yeah, let's jump right into the awesome, really.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna start right off with characters.
Gordon?
So we always criticize Friday the 13th for having characters that we don't really know. You're like, oh, it's just that person, that person. So like, this movie was a little different. You actually had characters that you knew about. You know, we actually know all of their names by the end of the movie. But that doesn't stop us from calling them funny things. Like Crispin Glover, his name's Jim, but it's just Crispin Glover. But you had some pretty interesting characters, like the pretty iconic characters for the series. You had Fatty Banana at the beginning. The Doublemint twins were in it.
Tina and Gina?
We're gonna go with
maybe.
Gina. And then you also had like the whole Jarvis family. You have like a whole storyline with Rob trying to avenge his sister from Part 2, and so that you actually had some pretty good characters.
Yeah, a lot of them had motivations. Ted was a friend of Jim, who was of course Crispin Glover,
Right.
and they kind of trade off trying to get laid the entire movie.
I like their interaction between the two of them though. Like
it's funny. It felt pretty natural, and I kind of liked where the characters went and what they got.
yeah, dead.
Yeah.
Good night, Axel.
Hey, where are you going?
I'll tell you where I'm going! I'm going crazy!
And then on the flip side, with Nightmare on Elm Street 4, we had a return of a lot of characters. We had Kincaid, Joey, and Christian from Part 3.
Right. Which we weren't sure at first. Like I had to look it up because I forgot that they had to replace Patricia Arquette.
Yes.
There's a lot of contention as to why, but was she pregnant? Did her agent ask for too money? Either way, she wasn't in the fucking movie. They hired like a stunt double, basically, and you could fucking tell.
Yeah, she's not the strongest actress.
No, like when Kincaid looks like a stronger actor, there's a fucking problem.
And then with the new characters that they introduce in Part 4, they have Rick, Alice, Dan, Deb, and Sheila.
And they kind of, in more of a flip side with Friday, they kind of end up kind of being fodder. It started off really strong. They seemed like they had a really good connection, but the acting was fucking fucking terrible, which is different for Nightmare. Like, granted, we know we've already talked about how Heather Langenkamp is not the greatest actress in the world, but usually Nightmare there's a little bit more from characters, and I just didn't really feel it this time.
Yeah, no, I would have to agree. Sheila and Deb kind of had some banter between the two of them, but they didn't really develop too far past that.
My vote for this is 100% Friday the 13th, and we know why. It's because of this fucking scene right here.
Hey, how come you turned that off?
All the right choices from Crispin Glover.
Yes.
Like, just fucking perfect.
Crispin Glover is probably the unsung hero of this franchise so far. His scenes
Does he
are...
replace Ralph for you?
It's a close. It might be a tie. Crispin Glover has some really good scenes in this movie. I mean, I might still have to go with Ralph just because Ralph, but close second. Close second.
Rest in peace, Ralph. Okay, we met everyone. Now let's fucking kill them. So with Friday the 13th, had some pretty decent kills. Right off the bat, you have a fucking brutal death with Axel getting his throat cut with the bone saw and then just fucking snapped. And then you have Fatty Banana getting stabbed in the back of the head. But the best Friday the 13th kill, probably in history, is gonna be stabbed into retardation. It didn't seem real.
It was too perfect.
Paul? Screw you, Paul.
So on the Nightmare side, we had quite a few good kills. Their setups were probably better than the actual executions themselves. For instance, Kincaid, his scene in the junkyard was visually very well done, while him getting stabbed in the chest was kind of okay.
I'll see you in hell.
Tell him Freddy sent you. One down, two to go.
Kind of the same thing with Rick as well. The elevator scene was really nice to look at. Fighting an invisible Freddy in the dojo, not so much.
But yeah, it's not a whole lot of memorable deaths, which normally happens in Nightmare.
Yeah, I'd say the only exception would be, and I think for me it's gonna be the best kill today, is Debbie's death scene, where she gets crushed, her arms are obliterated, she gets turned into a cockroach.
Yeah, it's fucking disgusting. Definitely my kill as well.
No pain, no gain.
Man, it gave me the heebie-jeebies the first time we watched it. I needed a second. It was kind of gross.
To the point where, as we were watching it, you even said, like, I think I'm gonna have to put a disclaimer on it. Granted we're adults or whatever, but like, we're gonna put a disclaimer.
Yeah,
on this episode first.
it's like it'll catch you off guard when you watch the movie.
To be fair, like, we probably should have put a disclaimer on all these fucking episodes, but fuck it.
So for our next category, we're going to go with body count, which has 14 in Friday the 13th as opposed to 6 in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah. And if you could do math, that's pretty simple and figure out which one's going to be more. Friday wins on that one.
Sheila can do math. She loves Trig.
Yeah. Debbie can't, though. She'd rather watch Dynasty. So, moving on to music, moving on to the score. With Friday the 13th, we usually kind of go back and forth just because Friday usually uses the same music. It's just Harry Manfred eating stings. In this case, though, just Nightmare just had the better soundtrack. It used its music better, which is kind of unfair, but fuck it. Friday always gets the body count. Nightmare is pretty much always going to get score.
Yeah, I really loved Nightmare's soundtrack. I know when watching the movie, I was just loving it the entire time. It's so perfectly 80s.
It's perfectly of its time, and the music definitely encapsulates that. Like I said, even though Manfredini does really good at setting the tone for the movie, Nightmare just does something different with it. It takes it in a different direction.
And I think it works really well.
Yeah, so Nightmare for me.
Nightmare as well.
Welcome to Wonderland, Alice.
So for our last category, we're going to go with best overall. My pick, I think it's kind of obvious, Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
I'm going to go totally different. I'm going to go Friday the 13th. I know we've been talking a lot about Nightmare this episode, but the final chapter it's good. Like, everybody was trying with final chapter. Like, they pretty much realized all the other ones were, and they're like, you know what, let's just fucking end it. We're gonna do it right. We're going to bring back Tom Savini. We're going to do everything what we need to do. And you can tell everything works perfectly. It just is a nice, solid movie, and my personal favorite of the Friday the 13th series.
I would have to agree that Friday, the final chapter, is definitely the best Friday movie. Tonally, it's very well done. The kills are, like you said, very well evenly paced, and you could tell people gave a shit when they made the movie, and it's a lot of fun. Both movies were very rewarding to watch today.
No! No!
Nightmare looked great, but it wasn't as good. Like, it had all the sheen, all the veneer of a great horror movie, but the cast was fucking abysmal, and it almost kind of ran a little too fast for my taste. It just felt weird. Friday the 13th, final chapter, is a far more cohesive, best Friday movie of the series, like we said. So I'm gonna go with final chapter for my vote. Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to understate how good Final Chapter is. In terms of being a better horror movie, yes, I would definitely agree. Like I said, the only reason I like Nightmare more is just because it really knows what it is, and it's not ashamed of it. I kind of like that aspect. Like, I gotta have a little cheese with it.
Yeah.
So.
And it's definitely and there's definitely plenty of cheese.
Yes.
That definitely is true.
Get up and kill.
So now that the fun part's out of the way, we can plug our shit. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at moderately Neato, except for the last O is a 0.
Yep. Then you can also hit us up on Instagram. That's going to be moderately Neato.
And then we also have
Facebook.
Facebook, yes.
Facebook.com/moderately Neato. And we
the-
have a website now.
Woo!
Yeah, it's moderatelyneato.net.
.net.
That's
Very,
right.
very nice.
Yeah.
And of course, we have got a YouTube channel. We would like if you'd subscribe, and if you like our shit, share it with some friends.
Yeah, like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff, comment on stuff. What do you think about these fucking movies? We're the only ones to talk about them. What do you think?
We want to know what you think.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a nice way to. I'm excited for what we're gonna do next.
Yes.
Because I mean, it's a nice way to kind of round out the series. Freddy vs. Jason's finally over. You know, final chapter. We're finally done with this stuff. So I don't know. We're gonna think what we're gonna do next.
Nick?
I don't know. Maybe like Phantasm versus
Nick.
like Poltergeist or what?
There's like 8 more movies.
No, it's Friday the 13th final chapter. It's the last one.
No, dude, he goes to Manhattan, he goes to hell. He goes to space, too.
What the fuck?
Moderately Neato.